So in today's video, I'm going to discuss about how to get a faculty position at a university. And I'll basically be discussing about the different documents which we need to submit for such a faculty position. So if you look at universities, the typical academic positions can be divided into two broad types. So one are positions which are primarily focused on teaching, and these exist at universities which are focused on teaching. And then there are positions which are primarily focused on research, and these universities are sometimes known as research universities or research centric universities and so on. So again, depending on the type of university you are applying to, some of the parts of your resume or curriculum vitae will be more important and some will be less important, and the package has to be changed accordingly. So basically, when you consider a university, there are various grades of faculty at a university. So you may have heard of words such as lecturer, senior lecturer, professor, and so on. So these nomenclatures vary around the world, and depending on the country you are in, the particular nomenclature would be different. But I'll assume at this time that you have finished a PhD degree and you are looking at a prospective faculty position. Now, there are some universities which may also consider people with master's degree for a predominantly teaching position, and the expectation is that they will pick up the PhD after some time. The PhD typically helps you even if you go to a teaching position, because a lot of professors or lecturers in teaching type of schools are expected to do some research during their career and to progressively expand their research footprint and to move the university somewhat in a direction of a higher level of research. So that is a kind of goal which most universities aspire to, and that is something to keep in mind. Now there are various web pages where you can find about university jobs. So again, if you look in Google for professor jobs, you will find various jobs, as well as you will find the link to various web pages and so on. So you can check these out and see. I will put some below in the comment statements on the video. So now let us go through some of the documentations which are typically required. So the first document you need is a cover letter. Then you typically need to submit a curriculum vitae, or which is known as CV. Then a research statement, a teaching statement, the name of 3 to 5 references and letters of recommendations from these people. And sometimes some universities also need something known as a diversity statement. So of course I recommend that you prepare all these documents in 12-point font and submit these at the particular internet portal where the job documents have to be submitted. So let us now look at these documents one by one. So let us start with the cover letter. So the cover letter of a faculty position should typically be 1 page long, and in some cases it can go up to 2 pages if you are a senior faculty person. And I would say in this 1 page you should try to give a few paragraphs. So the first paragraph should tell the people about why you are applying to this particular position, what are the things in your background which have prepared you for this particular position. And the second paragraph should give a brief outline about your research background, about your dissertation and some of the research topics in which you have worked on in the past. And the third paragraph could be about your teaching experience or your future plans in terms of teaching and your general scholarly vision. And finally, you can have a final paragraph summarizing all the accomplishments and saying as to what are the different skills which you bring to this particular university you are applying to, and what are the specific courses you could teach, or some of the laboratories or research institutes or people with whom you want to work. And then you can basically close your letter. So I would recommend keeping this letter to 1 page, because again, the selection committees are stretched for time and they may not want to spend too much time in perusing these letters. Now the second document which is very important is the curriculum vitae, and the curriculum vitae is essentially a document which roughly translates into a story of your life or a story of my life. So here of course you are familiar with various curriculum vitae formats, and you can get templates of these not only from the internet but also from the website of various universities. So if you go to the university websites and check out various professors, many professors put their curriculum vitae on these pages, and these can be useful templates for you. So again, this curriculum vitae basically starts out with your name, the particular universities from which you have obtained your degrees, some of your experience, if you have experience post your PhD, and then some of the prizes you have got during your tenure in this university system and before that. And then you may give a list of publications. So you can give a list of journal publications and conference publications and separate this out. And at the end, if there are some more detail you want to give in terms of any technical reports you have written or something like that, you can give that. So again, for a starting person after his or her PhD, the CV could be 2 to 3 pages at that particular point of your career. So now in the CV, it is important to give only the piece of information which is relevant in terms of the job which you are going for. So again, you need to tailor your CV to the specific job, and of course you need to give all the details about your education, your experience and so on, but you don't typically write out what you have done in your CV. So the difference between a CV and a resume is that in a resume people are expected to give a job description and then give a small paragraph or a couple of sentences about what was their main responsibility in this particular job position, but that's not something which you do in a CV. In a CV you simply state your job name or job title, and that's it. And then your list of publications essentially tells the people as to what you have done in the field. And also if you have done a PhD recently, you can also put in your dissertation title in front, in the first page. So again, the people who read the CV are expected to figure out from the journal paper titles and the quality of the journals as to what is the relevance of your research, and they can of course go to the internet and they can get your publications if they need to do so, or they may request you for your publications if they want to peruse them more carefully. So now the third document which you require is the research statement, and this is typically 1 or 2 pages long. And in the research statement you give an outline about your own research work, which can start from your dissertation work, and then you can give some background about some of the major discoveries which you have made in your dissertation work and how this has shaped your future plans for the next few years. And then you can give a couple of problems which you want to do in the future, and these are the problems for which you would probably request funding once you join this university. And so these are some of the problems which also become the seed problem for your future research proposals. So the next document is a teaching statement, and this is typically 1 page. Now at this point you may not have much experience in terms of teaching, so one good thing to do is during your PhD try to look out for possibilities about how to teach or co-teach some courses. So you may have been a grader, or you may have taken part in some lab experiments and guided students and so on. So you can give some of these particular experiences which you have obtained in the teaching field, and then you can give some outline as to what are the courses you can teach. So these could be some of the courses which you really enjoyed when you did your master's degree or your bachelor's degree, and these particular courses are some of the courses which should also match with the university courses, or it could be some new courses which you can give at the university, and you can specify some of these courses which you are going to teach, and you can give some background about your teaching philosophy. Now it's of course important to keep in mind that since you have not done much teaching at this stage, it's difficult to write a teaching philosophy, but you may have observed various teachers and professors who were very good and you probably like their method of teaching. So maybe there's a certain style of teaching which you like. Maybe you like to discuss a lot of material and then do a lot of examples, or you are more a project centered person who likes to give problems which people can do on the computer. So you can mention some of these things in the teaching statement. So again, the teaching statement should typically be 1 page long, and sometimes it can be maximum of 2 pages. So again, some universities also require something known as a diversity statement, and in the diversity statement, which should also be about 1 page long, you can mention about some of your life experiences which have helped you to realize the importance of diversity in a university setting, and how you feel that bringing in various groups of people into the university setting can help the society become a better place, and that is one of the parts of a typical university professor, or parts of the life and role of a typical university professor. Now, you also need to give the name and contact details of 3 to 5 references. So, again, these are people who should know you very well in the field, and probably one of them can be your PhD supervisor, and the remaining people could be experts in your field who know you very well. So, if you have had your PhD thesis reviewed by somebody at a different university, then this person also becomes a useful research supervisor. And also, you may have presented some papers in some conference, or there may have been journal like reviewers who have seen your publications, and these people again could become referees for you. So again, in these cases, you may need to give their names and their mail and so on. So it's always best to give referees who are professors at different universities, or they may be scientists at some research institutions, and they should typically have a PhD degree if you are applying for a faculty position. So these are some of the documents which you need to create when you go for a faculty position. And it's very important to have a good set of referees who are willing to write letters for you. And also to remember that when you apply to the university, you may need to tell these particular people that you are planning to send in your material, so they are ready in case they receive a mail from the university to submit your letter of reference and so on. So once you have done all these things, you can put all this material up in the portal where you need to submit your document. And one more piece of advice I of course have is always to make these documents at 12-point font, because people are producing a large number of documents and they like to see it in large font. And also to use some web friendly font. So I personally like this Calibri font, that's Calibri. And so this particular font was developed primarily for web-based document reading. And nowadays more and more people are reading the documents on the web rather than printing it. So this font looks somewhat better. So this is a basic background in terms of how to go through the process of applying for a faculty position. Now, of course, you will realize that the universities receive a large number of responses to any ad they put out. And again, some of the decisions they have to make are made rather quickly. So again, what is very important is to have a very crisp cover letter, and your CV should be very clear in terms of your education background and your list of publications. So again, some of the first shortlisting which is done is based on the fact that what is the field in which the person is working, is this field of relevance to the department, what are the courses this person can teach, and is this particular set of courses of relevance to the department, and also to look at the person's publication list and see if this person has published in good journals or not. So that is something which people like to see at this point. And of course, all these documents need to be written very meticulously in a fastidious manner. So you don't want to make any spelling mistakes or any grammatical mistakes at this stage. So it is a good idea to go through these documents several times, and maybe let a friend or a mentor go through these documents so that you are sure these documents are completely fine and they are in good shape by the time you submit them. So these are some thoughts I had today on this topic of how to apply to a faculty position. And this question was raised by one of my subscribers, so I presented this out today. And I hope this video was beneficial to you. So again, stay tuned to my channel for more videos on these type of topics. Thank you very much.